Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. It's great to see you again, and of course happy Independence Day for my friends in the United States. I hope you have a great day today and enjoy yourselves. So today I'm going to be doing a little bit of stitching on this project which I've had for ages now. This is Riverwalk charm, and it's by Ruane Manning. It's a heaven and earth design, and goodness me, I started this one back in late 2019, but I think I took a break from it at some point and I didn't work on it for most of 2020, I believe. Sometimes I think it's a good idea to check back on my diary to see, you know, what and when I did work on certain things. But yeah, there was a period when I didn't actually work on this one, and then it all just sort of took off after that, and I seem to be quite regular and quite frequent in working on this chart now. I really do love these autumnal colours, and I've been sort of consistently making this a focus piece because it's the largest one, and also because I absolutely love it, and I think and I've got a place where I know I'm going to put it up on my wall in my living room area. So I'm really, you know, the more I get done on it, the closer I get to that goal. So yeah, still sort of plugging away on it, and I've kind of gone back to doing these little blocks. I was on the diagonal, like I know a lot of my friends like to do diagonal as well, and but then, you know, sometimes you just want to chop and change a little bit. Then I just decided, okay, I like diagonal, but I don't want to do diagonal all the time. So I decided to go and have a little change from that. And then I went on to doing some blocks again. So it kind of feels like, in a weird little way, it kind of feels like you're starting something new again when you change your technique. It's just kind of weird like that, without actually starting a new piece. But anyway, yeah, so I'm sort of going along now in these blocks that you can see here. And yeah, I'm still kind of stuck on the tree area. I'm always saying stuck on the tree as if, you know, as if I'm actually in the branches and hanging from it, which is a bit of a strange way to think. But actually I'm not, because I have been actually going back and doing different parts of this chart, and I can do that whenever I want. So I don't know why I say I'm stuck, because if I call myself stuck, it limits my freedom to do other areas of the page, which I can do. So I'm going to stop saying that I'm stuck in the tree, because I'm not actually stuck in the tree. I'm just working on the tree, which I think is probably a better way to perceive it, because I don't want to feel like I'm stuck at anything. But having said that, it would be nice to actually get the tree done. I have to say that. I'm sure many of you have been working on some charts or some projects and thinking to yourself, do you know what, I really wish I could just finish this section or this area, because I feel like I've been on this bit just a bit too long now and I'd like to change. And I think that's probably why we so frequently switch projects around and move to other projects. So anyway, I'm going to work on this square here. And I like to move my strands out of the way, which I found a really good method of doing that. I just hitch up some of the strands onto my clip, which I have at the side of the Q-snap, and I also wind them around my needle minder, and I've just kind of got used to that method. It kind of works for me, so I don't feel like I need to change it. And that gives me the freedom to just work in the little area with the strands that I need in the little area that I'm actually working in. So in this section, it's all just, you know, yellows and orange colors and some cream colors. So there's a lot of mixing of colors. So it's really useful actually to be parking when you're doing this sort of area, because the colors look so similar that it's easy to get them mixed up. So as long as I park the right color in the right hole, I know it's okay. You know, I'm not going to have a problem. But if I park the wrong color in the wrong hole, then everything sort of goes pear-shaped. But I try not to do that too much. I try really hard now to kind of pay attention. That usually only happens when I'm like watching a film or something, and you know, my attention gets diverted elsewhere and I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not counting properly. But I've stopped doing that now. So normally, lately, I'm kind of listening to music or just listening to podcasts, that kind of thing, and just trying to relax more than anything and enjoy the actual stitching. I'm trying more to actually focus on what I'm actually doing rather than stitching mindlessly. And then I find I make fewer mistakes actually. So you can see here that I'm working 25 count, 2 strands over 1, which is really good. I find it really good for coverage. I mean, for me, it's perfect. You know, I don't think I'd want to go to anything higher. I did buy a piece of 28 count actually, and I found that it was just too small, and I just could not be bothered with magnifiers and all that stuff. I just want to be able to stitch comfortably with the eyesight that I have, and I need to wear, you know, glasses anyway for reading and stitching, and they work for both things, for both the reading and the stitching. But I wouldn't want to have to, you know, I've got magnifiers and that, but I find it's all too, I don't know, it's like doing a surgical operation. I've got the light shining down on me, I've got the stand in front of me. If I go with the magnifiers as well, I feel like I'm going to take out someone's organ. Like, it just feels like it's all too much of a setup and less of a relaxing thing. And sometimes now I find myself, just because there are times when I feel a little bit hemmed in with my stand. I've got the Lowry stand. There are times when I feel a little bit sort of caged in, and you know, my family come into the room and they're talking to me, and I'm kind of peering over the top of my whip. So I kind of feel like I'm in one of those passport photo boxes, you know, where you're kind of all enclosed and you can't really get out that easily. So now sometimes I actually take it off the Q-snap, and not off the Q-snap, I take it off my stand and I just put a cushion on my lap and I hold my Q-snap and I stitch, because I have tried to stitch in hand and I don't know, for some reason it just doesn't work for me. I think it might be because the fabric is very soft, and you know, I think some people can stitch in hand with soft fabric. I'm pretty sure they can. I can't seem to do it. I seem to find that my needle gets lost. It all gets, you know, far too squishy. And I'm like, that maybe because the count is so small. I don't know. But I like a bit of tension anyway. So I keep it in the Q-snap, and sometimes I just stitch on a cushion. And then I feel like I can breathe a bit more, like I'm not hemmed in by my, you know, kind of cowering behind my stand. That does feel a little bit better sometimes. But generally, I stick to the 25 count, and I'm quite happy to just go with the blocks and the parking, and occasionally stitching, not using the stand, and on my lap. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and I've been working quite well on this one and reached, we're coming up to 35% now, very, very close to 35%. I actually have managed nearly 700 stitches today on this. And the only reason I've been able to do that is I gave it a bit of an early start. I started at 10 o'clock this morning, before I've started recording now. And I've been sort of just doing this area, which is, it's quite a lot of colours, but it's not too bad. You know, you can see that there's not a huge amount of strands. I've got areas where there's like 10, 12, 15 stitches that are of one colour. So, and I'm trying not to do the parking beneath every row, because that just slows everything down. So even though like I'm parking now just below, in some places when I feel like it's possible and it's not too awkward, I will go down a bit and do some stitches underneath the ones that are parked, but only when I'm properly counting and I feel like it's not too much of a pain, because lifting up all those threads actually makes it easier just to see underneath and to be, you know, parking or stitching beneath the threads. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I've sort of got used to it now. So yeah, it's all just like, I feel like it's, you know, when you learn to drive a car and you've been driving it for years, and it just like, it becomes second nature. You don't have to think about it that much. I feel like I don't really have to think that much about moving the park strands around. Yeah, there's always going to be times when things get in a little bit of a twist or they get a little bit tangled, but I think that's going to happen anyway with everything. So this is my working method, and then sometimes my needle also just comes right off the thread, which is also a bit irritating, but you know, there's always little things that are gonna mess you around every so often. So anyway, yeah, how has everybody been? I feel like I haven't been around for ages. The last video I uploaded was one of my history podcasts, which was about witches, and that was fun to do. I haven't really got going with anything else so far. Haven't really thought about it, but I have been stitching, and I haven't actually had a chance yet to organise a whip parade. I know a lot of people are doing mid-year whip parades and have actually found the time to do that. I've actually been really busy lately again. There's been stuff going on with family again, and it's sort of been, I just feel like I've been out a lot more because we've had such nice weather. And yeah, you know, I don't want to be sitting indoors stitching when the weather's really nice. I know I could take my stitching outside, but I find it really hard to take my HAEDs to a location where I could actually sit and stitch, because then I'd want to take my Lowry stand, and and the garden that I have doesn't really get much sun. It's sort of like a shared garden between a few of the tenants. And I don't really see anybody out there, to be honest. And I've realised that because I don't think we get a lot of sun in the garden, maybe that's a good thing, because, you know, you can just go and sit by a tree in the shade or whatever. But just hasn't really appealed to me to do that. And also I find it would be awkward, because then I'd have to like find a chair and somewhere to stand my Lowry. And then, I don't know, it just feels like it would be just too awkward. So because I like working on my HAEDs more than anything else, I tend to do them in my big comfy recliner that I have in my living room, and it's just such a nice setup. It's the most comfortable place for me to stitch, to be honest. Whether it be day or whether it be night, it is actually the most comfortable place for me to stitch. But I have been out and about a lot more, and I've been doing more stuff. My son finished school last week, and so we've been out a little bit more, about 3 or 4 days in a row recently. We've been out into the town doing some shopping. We went on the tram, went up to a shopping centre, you know, lots of little things, went out for lunch together, all this sort of stuff that we can't do when he's at school. And also trying to organise bits and pieces that, you know, are more difficult to do when everybody's at school and at work. So it's been nice to get out and about. So I've only been really stitching in the evening for about an hour or two, and also trying to get a bit of knitting in as well, because if I don't get a bit of knitting or crochet in, I feel like I'm abandoning my other projects, and I don't like that feeling. So I want to feel like I'm getting a bit of progress all around. So I've got at the moment the 3 main projects that I'm dedicating most of my time at the moment is this one, and Home for the Holidays by Thomas Kincade, and working also bits and pieces, but not as much. I'm working on my Fruits of Plenty by Modern Folk Embroidery, and I'm working on Sad Fairy, which is the other HAED. The rest of them are all put away. They're not coming out until such time. Well, they might come out like sporadically, very sporadically, but they're not coming out until I have at least finished a HAED here. And also I started looking around. I downloaded a chart from Artisy ages ago, and I think I started it ages ago, and then I found it and I thought, you know what, I feel like doing a bit of this just because. So I started working on it, but I only did I think it was 200 stitches, nothing even worth showing. But I will come back and maybe do a stitch with me with that one, or come and show you that one. And it's called Carriage Park by Artisy. I'll put a picture up on the screen actually. So I'm going to try and slot that one in somewhere, I think, because it's kind of going to give me a bit of a break from Riverwalk Charm, which I have been almost monogamous with a few on the side, let's say. I've almost been monogamous with this one. I've been working on it so much for so long, like nearly since November last year, I've been going at it. And I've got now to like 131,000 stitches. So really been pushing the boat out of this one. So of course, once you start working a bit more on one, then you find that the others sort of lag behind a bit, which is okay because I'm not really worried about it. But yeah, for me, I sort of work on not making too many plans, just having like a little bit of a plan, and then I just end up just going and working on the ones I want to work on anyway. So I kind of gave up. I really loved Whip Go. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a really good idea to get, working on all of your pieces. But it just kind of didn't fit with my personality, because whatever way it worked out, I used to think, I have to stop stitching this one now because the new Whip Go drawer says I have to stitch on that. And maybe I was enjoying what I was stitching on. I didn't want to swap. So I kind of felt disappointed a few times. And then I kind of lagged behind and didn't stitch what I was supposed to stitch on the Whip Go. And then it just felt like, I just rather just stitch what I want to stitch. And I think I've noticed a lot of people kind of doing that as well, just sort of stitching as and when. Are you one of those stitchers that just likes to pick up whatever you fancy, or are you a dedicated planner and you stick to the rules? It doesn't matter either way. Both are fine. There's nothing to say you have to stick to a plan. There's nothing to say that you don't need a plan. It just all depends on your character and what you enjoy. So sometimes, like I think I was saying in another video, I just like to leave it to my gut instinct what I feel like doing a lot of the time. And a lot of the time I just feel like pulling this one out. And also Home for the Holidays, because since I started doing that one, and because it's a mini, I find like I'm actually going to get that one done a lot quicker than a lot of the others. So I've been pulling that one out a lot more and getting quite a bit of progress on that. So yeah, it's a bit of a topsy-turvy way to do things, but it just kind of, it's very relaxed. I don't feel under any stress or obligation or under pressure. And I feel like if I'm not under pressure, then I'm less likely to abandon this piece. I don't want to abandon this piece. Because I'm really enjoying it, and I seem to be quite determined to keep on going with this one, and that's just the way I'm rolling at the moment. So there have been whips that I have UFO'd, but I think like everybody, you've got to feel it, right? If you're not feeling it, you can't pretend. There's no point pretending you're enjoying something when you're not. And as much as I've loved everything I've started, and I think I have, I just came to a point in realizing that at the end of the day, I can't do everything. So I might as well just do what I feel like doing. And that's it. If I feel like I don't want to do something anymore, I'll stop. And if I feel like I need motivation, I'll come on to here and ask you for motivation and just see where life takes us. Because really, it is kind of like life. You don't know from one day to the next what is going to happen. You don't know the future. We're always trying to make plans, but a lot of the time, my plans if I make plans, they never work out, or they don't work out like I expected them to. And yeah, it's just no fun when that happens, is it? It's no fun when your plans just go down the toilet. So I feel like less plans and more just treating it as it is, the hobby that is, and doing what it is I want to do. And if some of them fall by the wayside, so be it. And if some of them get finished, so be it. And I feel like that's the best way to look at it. No pressure. Because I find that there's been so many other pressures that have come and gone in the last year or two. So many other things that will make us anxious and things that we have to worry about. I don't want to be worrying about my cross stitch. I really don't, because I've got enough stuff to worry about. So I want to enjoy it, and that really is it. Sounds like I'm trying to convince myself here, doesn't it? But I'm not. I'm really just trying to sort of share my thoughts and my feelings about it. So I've been enjoying what I've been doing, and I've been enjoying watching flosstube and catching up with what everybody else has been doing, what they've been working on. It is such a nice thing to have flosstube, to be able to go in and see what everybody's up to and follow their projects, because I follow a lot of people. I follow their projects. I may not comment on every single video, but I follow a lot of people and I watch them and I enjoy. Actually, on this video, I'm going to actually call out a few of them that I really enjoy, that I've been watching recently. So that you can, if you want to, you can click on their link and you can go and check out their flosstube videos if you haven't already. But to be honest, there is so many of them that are inspiring and just so natural and so happy to share with everybody. It's just really enlightening. So yeah, go down and check what I've been watching recently. And yeah, give them a like and subscribe to them as well, because that's what this community is about. It's all about the sharing. That's what I love the best about it, I think. It's about the sharing. And oh, somebody asked me the other day about if I ever do any hauls, and I said, actually, no, I don't. I never ever do any hauls, because I'm really not that kind of person that likes to collect stuff. Once I have something, I feel like I need to be really serious about stitching it. And at the moment, I've actually got quite a bit of stash in my cupboard that I haven't started, and I've not had intentions to start. So, you know, until I get round to them, I'm not buying any more, unless I'm absolutely crazy, madly, completely and utterly in love with it. Then yeah, maybe I will. But apart from that, I haven't bought a single cross stitch pattern for ages, because I just feel like, well, I think the last one I purchased was the Fruits of Plenty, which was much earlier this year, and that's by Modern Folk Embroidery, but I'd started it, and that actually is one that I was thinking about doing later on today after this video, because I kind of make that my Sunday stitch, but I didn't do it this Sunday. So yeah, it's got an overdue little bit of stitching needed. So yeah, basically haul wise, I'm not a hauler, sorry to say. So whilst I love seeing other people's purchases, it's just not me. I just don't want to have, I mean, it's not because I don't have the space. I'm sure I could find space if I wanted to find space, but I just feel like I'd feel like, I don't know, if I had boxes of charts, I would feel like, what am I going to do with these? I don't have anyone to pass them on to. I don't have any daughters. I don't have, you know, anyone that's interested in cross stitch that I know in my family. My son certainly wouldn't be interested. That would take them off me, or that I could pass them to. So really, I just prefer to spend the money on something else. So what I then do is I spend the money, or I save the money up for other things like books or floss that I need, or other bits and pieces. The other day I went into town and I got myself a new pair of embroidery scissors, and I also got myself a little tray, which I can put a photo up of that, a little tray which is magnetic, because I was putting all my needles into a little plastic box and they were falling out. So I thought, well, this will be great. You know, I'll just put them in this magnetic tray, and if the magnetic tray is held upside down, they can't fall out. So yeah, it's great for storing the needles. So I can hear my cat Misty, and I don't know what she's up to, but she's up to no good at the moment. She's behind the piano, probably looking for her treats. Sometimes I throw her treats around the room because she likes to go and hunt for them. She's probably behind there thinking that she might have missed one. Yeah, that's what she's up to. Did you find one, Misty? I doubt it, because you tend to find them and eat them straight away. No, she's kind of given up now. So yeah, this isn't going to be a long stitch with me, because I do have some plans this evening, but I did want to actually sit down and touch base and just come back and say hello and have a little chat. Because I do miss you, and I do miss chatting to you and doing the Stitch with Me's. I miss, your feedback and everything. It's really nice to feel connected to the community. I don't like to stray away too long, but obviously I also want to be able to be relaxed, to be able to sit down and have that freedom to do it without being interrupted too much, because I do tend to find that I can get interrupted quite frequently if it's not a delivery at the door. It's the husband needs something, or the son needs something, or you need to go out because you've got an appointment here and an appointment there, or you need to go grocery shopping, or there's always something. The housework, the laundry, there's always something that needs to be done. So it's usually a matter of finding a good bit of space and time, and then having the time to go and get it all onto the computer and upload it and edit it and all the rest of it. So it does take a little bit of time. I mean, it does take a good at least half a day to be able to do video. So yeah, I suppose that's why a lot of people don't do them every day, right? Because we just don't have the time as much as we'd like to. But yeah, we've still got, I can't believe we're on to July already, and we've still got 2 months of summer, let's say, and today has been pouring with rain. So it's kind of that weather where it's a bit sticky and warm, sticky and hot, which I don't really like that kind of weather, because it doesn't feel like summer and it doesn't feel like winter. It's some kind of weird thing in between. So you don't feel like you really want to go anywhere because you're going to get wet, and you don't really want to wear a coat or a jacket because it's too kind of warm. So yes, it's not great. But so that was one of the reasons why I haven't been out, and I've been in doing some stitching this morning. There isn't any other news regarding life, I guess. I think that's probably a good thing, because I hate to come thinking that I've got to be a bearer of bad news, and thank goodness I don't have any bad news. Touch wood, because nobody likes to bring that kind of news. So also sending my love and good wishes to those of you, any of you who are having a hard time at the moment. Know that you are cared for and that you are loved, and sending love and good blessings to you. And let's see what's going to happen the rest of this summer with regards to my stitching, because I was thinking of, I don't know now if I should think, after having said all this thing about wanting to pick up what I want to pick up, I was thinking about maybe just putting Riverwalk charm aside for a month and not working on it, and maybe concentrating on one of the other ones which haven't had much, like Fruits of Plenty, which I wanted to really actually get a lot more of that done than I have. I wanted to see a bit more progress this year than I have. I don't know, I wish I'd picked it up a little bit more often. But then if I put this one away for a month, I'm not going to be working on it. So I'm in two minds. Should I? Shouldn't I? Should I? Shouldn't I? So yeah, let me know what you think. I mean, it's always nice just to get a bit of feedback anyway. I'm uncertain because I'm working so nicely with this one. I don't really have a massive goal. I kind of gave myself a goal of having this finished by the end of 2026, in 3 years' time. And that was like working on it very steadily and not rushing through it. But if I obviously put it away for a month, that's going to change that's sort of going to change things. But does it really matter? I don't know. Does it really matter if it doesn't get done when I think it should get done? Like, is there a reason for it to get done? I don't know. See, I might kind of drive my brain a bit mad going around with all these questions that I can't even answer myself. So yeah, sometimes it's a bit too much to actually think about, too much to work out. And then I just go back to thinking, oh, forget it, just carry on stitching. Stop thinking about numbers and things, because the whole numbers and calculations thing is what sets me off getting stressed in the first place. So I want to kind of avoid that and yeah, just go with my flow. But yeah, I'm wondering Well, okay, so maybe if I don't put it away for a month, what if I just do 1 week on Fruits of Plenty and 1 week on Riverwalk Charm? Like 2 weeks of the month on Riverwalk Charm and then 2 weeks on Fruit of Plenty. So alternate every week for a month. What about that? And then I'd get a little boost on Fruits of Plenty, but I'll still have worked on this one. I'll have to think about that because there are so many options, right? There are so many options, but I find that I don't know whether I'm going to stick to it, to be honest. Having said that, I just never know if I'm going to stick to something or not. So yeah, famous last words, but we'll see. It's nice to have a think about it anyway, whether it happens or not. So I've done really well here, getting all getting this block finished, and I'm just going to go to the end. When I get to the end of this one, I'm just going to keep going in a row, because rows of 1. I think, and this is like where you see the end here is at the end of a page, so that's going to work for me. Oh, hello, Misty. Have you come to say hello? Yeah, come and say hello to my friends. Just having a chat. I know she's very chatty sometimes. She likes to come and say hello. Yeah, there's a good girl. Now don't jump on top of the microphone, because that's not a good idea. Yeah. Okay, so she always wants attention when she wants attention, and there's just nothing you can do about that. That's what cats do. They come and tell you what they want when they want it. Okay, so stitch count so far, 712. Let me know what you think. This is all in one morning, and which also means that I haven't done any ironing or anything, but hey, this is far more important than doing things like that, right? So yeah, it's going well, I think. So if I can get to the end of this row here by the end of today, without too many interruptions, I think that will be enough for today. Or maybe I'll just put a cut-off point, say about 4 o'clock, and then I can maybe switch to the Fruits of Plenty this evening whilst I'm watching something on TV. We'll see, because that one's kind of easier to watch TV with, because I can balance. I've got it in a hoop, actually. I'm working on that one in a hoop, so I can just stitch in hand and not have to be sort of peering over my stand looking at the television, which is quite funny. But I don't actually watch that much TV, to be honest. Stopped watching TV years ago. Just kind of all phased out after we started using our laptops more and started using our phones and everything. TV kind of went by the wayside. And the only thing I really like watching on it, to be honest, are things like documentaries. Used to watch a lot of David Attenborough stuff until I got upset every time some little creature died or got ripped apart by other creatures. And then I thought, that's it. I've seen enough. I can't do this anymore. I just get so worked up when I see something suffering or being chased. I know it's nature. I know it's part of the natural world, but yeah, it always just kills me when I see that. So kind of phased off that. But I'm not really into these things like Strictly Come Dancing or these like Love Island. No, I can't bother with all that. I much prefer to watch something that's got interesting, either historical stuff or documentaries. Even the crime stuff is okay if it's not too sad. If it's too gory and it's too shocking and it's too sad, that would just upset me. So I like to just watch. I don't mind that sometimes, and sometimes when there's a good movie. I watched a horrifically bad movie the other day, and I feel like I wasted 4 hours of my life, and I wasn't even stitching at the time, so I didn't even get any benefit there. And I'm not even going to say which one it is, because I don't like giving bad reviews about anything, because I don't like tainting anything or giving it a bad rap, so that, everything people put out in the world, like movies, books and film, it's all justified. So if it's good, I will say it's good. But if I didn't like it, I really don't say anything, because I don't want to put out my personal opinion when other people might like it. So, but there was this one movie I watched on, I think it was Amazon Prime, and yeah, it was just one of those that you watch and you think, what am I looking at? What is even happening here? I don't even know what's going on here. It was weird. It was just really weird stuff going on. And I just thought, oh God, I wish I hadn't watched that now, because I was kind of waiting for something to happen the whole time. And then nothing happened. What actually did happen was just unexplainable. Like, I couldn't figure out what it even meant. So I think it was one of those dystopian kind of, what they call ultra creative films, ultra creative movies, that you kind of got to think outside the box. Okay, well, I don't think I can think outside the box to that extent, so it didn't work for me. I must have the wrong box. So anyway, yeah, finding a good movie is a bit of a challenge. So actually, what's worse than finding no good movie to watch? Well, it's actually finding a bad one and watching the whole thing and wishing you hadn't. So that's my take on it. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here for now, because I've got a few things to do, and I have to say thank you, and for listening to my ramblings once again. If you got this far, then I commend you. Thank you very much. And yeah, it's been great for me anyway to connect with you, and I'd love to hear from you. So anytime you want, post me a comment, say hello, and let me know what you think of my stitching today and my project, and I will come back again as soon as I can and say hello to you again. So until then, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.